ARK Survival Evolved, the Catwoman to my Batman. I love you, but damn it, you can be evil and I should hate you for it. I have had such a love-hate relationship with this game, it's almost comical. Now, I've already reviewed ARK once as an early access review, and now the game is quote-unquote officially released. You know, like an official release review. So I'll be going over the gameplay, presentation, and developers, maybe even updating my comments on them, but I'm not going to retread so much over the stuff I've already commented on. So think of this review as more or less a continuation of the last one, and disclaimer here, you might see a few stutters in my footage. That's just the game's normal lag, so take that as you will. Now, the gameplay. So in the last video, I covered a lot of the base gameplay for ARK, you know, how things are set up to be. You know, oh, you build bases and you collect all this stuff. Now, I really want to expand upon that and look at the metagame of ARK. So starting off with that, there's a definitive have and have not population on the servers. The servers are always on, your character always exists in the world, even when you log off, they just go to sleep. Which is an interesting concept, but it also presents a lot of insecurity with what you do have. You feel very protective of what little you have. Starting off, you have absolutely nothing and you build yourself up, but with other players in the world, you really want to protect what you get, especially on player versus player servers. On player versus environment servers, almost every speck of land is just claimed already. You will not be able to build a base unless you get very lucky with finding a spot. It's incredibly difficult to find a place for your base because everything's been claimed. There's pillars everywhere. That's how they claim it. They just throw down pillars and you can't build anywhere near it. Now back to PvP. From what I understand, some servers have just been completely taken over by mega tribes, which are normally like Russian or Chinese people who play the game when you are asleep and will destroy anything that other players have built. So there's kind of a whole system where mega tribes, which has like 30 people in them, they will let certain smaller tribes live, but won't let them get too big, and there just comes a point where it gets ridiculous. I mean, there's no way you can stand up to these bigger tribes, you know, they can breed the perfect dinosaurs. Their bases are just covered every square inch with turrets, and you will just not be able to get close at all. So what can you do? Well, I've heard stories of people basically signing up to be slaves for these mega tribes. I mean, they will let you into the base, they will give you a straw house, and they'll give you a chest to put your belongings in, and the big tribe says, okay, you are now a resource slave, you have to collect this many wood, you have a quota, if you don't meet it, you're off this server. So you can start off becoming a literal slave, and eventually these tribes might let you rise through the ranks. But that's what the game essentially is. It serves as a microcosm of humanity. Create a world where anything is possible and they will start enslaving people and greedily claiming all of the land for themselves. I guess deep down, we're all imperialists. So you will never be at the top of the food chain, especially if you are a new player. So they show all these trailers of all this cool shit. You're never going to get to do that. I touched on this before, but the gap between new player and top tier player is just a chasm. So as a new player, which you will be a lot of the time, you know, you can swap characters between servers. So like you make a character on a new server, say get them to level 37 or 75, that is your character now, unless you want to start over from level 1. So you have to transfer that one character between all the servers. And add on top of that, that leveling is just bullshit. The only thing I can see it serving as right now is just to create a time barrier between low level and max level players, which might work if it didn't take so long to reach maximum level. I've never actually been able to reach it. It takes hours, no, days, maybe weeks of being in-game. This is in-game time we're talking about here, like hundreds of hours to reach maximum level. It is like an MMO, except the leveling here I think might take even a little bit longer. See, I played with huge multipliers on leveling, and it still took an extremely long time to level up once I was at like level 85. So I really don't understand the point of leveling. Is it supposed to prove that I know how to play the game? I don't know. If so, why does it make you start a new character whenever you go to a new server? It's just annoying. So say you don't like any of this stuff. What can you do about it? Well, I didn't cover this in the last video, but you can set up a private server for you and your friends and change all of the settings to be whatever you want. You know, you can set experience multipliers to reach level 60 in minutes, make it so everyone is invincible or T-Rexes die with one punch. I mean, it's completely tailored around the experience that you want to have. But with that said, unfortunately, when it comes down to it, you want other players to play in the server with you. If you play on a private server and reach maximum level and build an amazing base, no one besides you and your friends are going to see it. And you are never going to have anyone challenge you or anyone to be challenged. You aren't getting the official server experience, but you also don't want the official experience because it's so damn hard. I think when I boil it down, the main problem comes with the difficulty. If you want to play on the main server, you have to work for it, not play, work. You will have to scrounge up whatever you can and go up against immeasurable forces, only to more than likely either be crushed or quit the game out of sheer boredom with the monotony. There's no difficulty setting. The game is hard on all of the official servers, and I don't mean hard in that it's particularly challenging. I think I need to clarify this. It is challenging, but I mean it's hard in the sense that it's really time consuming. And it sucks because all of the official servers require you to spend months of your life on this game just to gain a foothold. There are unofficial servers, but you don't know if you want to invest in them, as you don't know if or when they will shut down and never come back. So you don't want to invest all this time only for it to go away. And at the end of the day, it's just a video game. A survival video game at that. You see, the whole point of survival games is to keep you from asking the question, what am I doing with my life? Why am I playing this when there's no real world value in it for me? Unfortunately for ARK, you will relatively quickly ask that question. Now moving on to the presentation. So I got a better computer now. Actually a higher tier, actually ultra graphics computer. And of course the game looks a lot better. Even still though, as you may have noticed, it sometimes stutters and lags. So the performance, I feel like the devs just didn't really think about it. People can just have 100 dynos in one spot, and that creates a lot of understandable lag. I don't really know how they can solve the issue of server-side lag though. Everyone wants to have everything. Everybody wants to rule the world. So that means that 80 people on a single server means that there's just going to be a ton of shit everywhere. It's not as bad as it was on my medium spec computer, but it's still not ideal. And I think a lot of it comes from just how much people have. There's no practical limit to it. There's no limit to the amount that you can tame and build. There's a limit placed on the server, but not the individual. So some guy can have 80 dinos while I have 2, and the server won't let you tame anymore. And I've said this before, but the game is so inconsistent with what it's going for. Like, is this realistic, or fantasy, or sci-fi, or realistic sci-fi, fantasy? I don't know. But one last thing to add though, and this is a good thing, the orchestral soundtrack for this game is just awesome. I really like it. It sounds just like it should. It sounds amazing, honestly. I really like it. Now the last point, you know we gotta talk about them. The developers. In my last video, I pointed out how scummy these developers are, and yeah, they haven't stopped. In my last video on ARK, I made the reference that Wildcard adding sharks with laser beams on their heads was ridiculous, and I joked that Wildcard was like Dr. Evil from Austin Powers. And sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their frickin' heads. Are you serious?
You know, I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads. Can you remind me what I pay you people for? Honestly, throw me a bone here.
A couple days after I made that video, they released this. Which is like, it's like they took the joke and fully embraced it. I mean, they are directly embracing the Austin Powers joke. I mean, did they see my video, or did they just think it was obvious? I don't know. I don't know whether or not to be angry or happy with them over this. I think I'm both. Oh, and a few days after they officially released their game, they released their game like 2 days ago, so it's a couple days, they announced another paid DLC, but this time it's going to be sci-fi based. Oh, and of course they can bring back all those space-looking creatures and transfer them back to the regular game. Are you serious, guys? Wait, are they in space? They fucking did it. They took my exaggeration, there's no way you would do something this stupid joke, And they did it. ARK in space. Just make a new game. I'd buy it. All you are doing is mucking up the game that you already have. I would love to play a fantasy survival game or a sci-fi survival game developed by Wildcard. But for some reason, they just want to tie everything to ARK. Whatever, it's time for the personal score. So what is the personal score for ARK? With my own biases, how is the game? It's okay. It's pretty okay. It's actually fun. I enjoy it. I've always enjoyed it. I keep coming back to it. I've played a lot on it. I think, and you guys might hate me for this, but I think I want to give this game a 4 to 5 good score. It's better than it was before, and frankly, I have to admit that despite all of the shitty practices, ARK was really fun to play and has some of the best survival game aspects out there. I'm ashamed to say it, but I think this game is good. I mean, it is good, and underneath it all, there's a lot of effort, and I think it's easy to disregard that. Now, the professional score. What will other people think without my biases? Given the awful practices, and the lag, and the sheer grind of the game, I think a neutral person will think this game is a 3 out of 5 average, bringing the total score of ARK Survival Evolved to a 7 out of 10 above average game. There is so much here, just so much content, that I don't think this game is average anymore. It should be awesome. Hell, I was stuck between giving this game a 5 or a 10. That just shows you my relationship with this game varies so much. So if you pick this game up and you can run it well, you will have fun with it, and I don't think I can deny that. But, and I can't stress this enough, don't take this score too seriously though. As I said, some moments of this game are 5 out of 10 below average, other moments are 10 out of 10 godlike, so I am just going in the middle, and I'm going to say that this is above average, and I'm not really too sure about that. That's just kind of where I am right now. Do you disagree? Did I get something wrong? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel for more videos like it. I'm Sir Neck, and I'll see you next time.